And definitely appreciate you guys and girls for coming today. I know it's always a busy schedule trying to cram in all these training sessions and seminars. We'll get started. Essentially today, we're going to talk about how can NEC displays help you grow your business. How many here are doing digital signage now? Raise your hands. And for the people who are not doing digital signage, why not? Go ahead.
We've tried to get into various clients who we find the opportunity for. They push it off. They just aren't interested in it right now. We've dealt with hospitality and some restaurants where we've tried to enter and we propose things, and they said, you know, either the cost or it's just not ready for it.
Right, right. And these are currently clients that you already have? Or these are new clients? Okay, okay. How many here are selling digital signage to their existing clientele? Okay. And what were they buying before digital signage? What were you guys primarily selling to them before?
We've been doing point of sale since 2000.
Okay, great. Anybody else? The point of sale? I know some of the, in the last year, somebody said, yeah, we just sold printers, right? Network solutions. You know, we're the go-to guys for some of the hospitality or quick serve restaurants. You know, we provide IT support. You know, that's a common response, but not necessarily digital signage. You know, it's difficult to get into digital signage if you're just starting off and not knowing, you know, how to attack getting in there. I've been invited, fortunately, by SYNNEX for the past 6.5 years to come and present here. And from day one, we've been trying to educate resellers like yourself on what to do, how to engage, who to engage, and also what not to do. That's always the struggle is, you know, if I try this, I don't want to spend a year trying to develop my business plan and try to execute it and do the same mistakes that everybody else has done. So we're going to try to minimize that for you guys. Just a little snapshot of where the industry is at and going. This is just a snapshot of the large format screens that have been sold and going to be sold. The projection is about 25% year over year. And now this is a pretty good barometer of, okay, for digital signage, there's usually a screen attached or projector attached. So from NEC's perspective, this is great for us. A lot of our opportunities that we see come from you guys. Either you're already going there, we have our own teams, our own vertical teams, but you already have your clientele. You usually reach out to somebody at SYNNEX and ask, hey, there's an opportunity, let's try to poke and probe and see where we go. But the market is growing, and from just the display portion of the business, we definitely see that. What vertical markets? Pretty much everything, right? I mean, if you're currently selling into school systems in projectors in classrooms, that's a cyclical market like we know every year. So is retail, right? The retail market is pretty much ending by the end of this month, and it'll start back up again in February next year. So everyone tries to get their system specified by early February, March at the latest, and then by July, the retail projects are getting installed, whether it's quick serve restaurants or other venues, you know, especially on the retail side. It's also pretty cyclical. Now on the other side, you have the hospitality, you have healthcare. They're always doing some digital signage. They always have money. For some apparent reason, everybody else is suffering, and there's always money in healthcare. So if you're not looking at the healthcare market, look at that. That's pretty much growing leaps and bounds. Financial services, you know, like banks are updating their digital signage these days. Airports are always a great place to sell into digital signage. The difficulty there is if you're not selling to them systems already, there's usually some company or companies that are already been entrenched in there, so it's kind of difficult. So if you're a small IT reseller, there's definitely more avenues in corporate, some smaller quick serve restaurants, the healthcare field, entertainment, movie theaters, right? The regional movie theaters, bowling alleys. So everybody's trying to get into the digital signage. At NEC, we have not only the solution sales team, but also the channel team that Betsy and John are involved with. But there's a number of other teams that help or can help you guys get into the reseller, the end user. And even let's say there's usually a consultant involved if it's a pretty big project. So we have these different teams that actually attack the same project with you and try to help you close the project. So we have an end user team, what we call professional sales team. We have a dedicated team for K-12 and higher ed, quick service restaurant and retail. We even have a team that's dedicated to manage the relationship between content management software companies. So we understand that they bring a lot to the table as well. Not only on the display side of the business, but they bring us a lot of opportunities, because more than likely, if you're doing a digital signage project, there's going to have to be some software involved and content. What comprises digital signage? Some of you already know this, but for you guys that are new, typically there's a display. You need content, and I highly recommend looking at content and content creation services. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But if you don't have proper content, really, regardless of what display you use, how great they look, without the proper content, if it's not formatted correctly, if it's not the proper resolution, then it'll look okay, not great. So there has to be some media player or computer associated with it. So all these things, all these third-party products, even the touch applications or even installation services, we can provide for you through our partner, SYNNEX. A cost breakdown, this is still pretty much true, where the displays for our projects is about 32%. Still pretty expensive. It's becoming lower and lower every year. But when medium-sized projects that I work on, the displays still comprise a majority of the cost. There's player hardware, is about 15%. Those are the PC players. You have the mounts. The software could be between 5% or higher, depending on what software solution you have. Content management software, now you have to manage the solution. Now, do you manage the solution for your client, or are you just selling another SKU to them and they have to manage it themselves? The money is in the services portion. If you don't know it already, that's where the money's at. If you try to sell the displays or hardware at 30 plus points to try to make money there, good luck, because we know that the hardware piece is not where you're going to make money. It's usually on the services. Installation and initial project management, that's where you'll make money as well. So how can we help your business? So why NEC? NEC, throughout the years, with the solution sales force that we have, we've started doing consulting. Actually, we've always done consulting. When somebody calls for an NEC or a solution, a display product of some sort, we usually have to ask, what is it for? What's the application? So there's usually a consultation process that we try to help figure out what proper solution is needed. And then it usually turns out, okay, what mounts do you need? Do you need anything else? All those questions that we have to ask to make sure that the solution is qualified correctly. Besides the hardware and software, there's even a system configuration and applications. I do a lot of video walls at NEC, and I'm sure if you haven't seen video walls yet, it's one of the fastest growing verticals or segments in the industry. People always ask, how can you help me configure, or I have an application, my client has an application, they want to show 16 different pictures or video on a video wall. How do we do that? So we can help you design that solution with the folks at SYNNEX. Now, people that have never done video walls usually get squeamish. Well, I've never done it. How can I even deploy something or sell something I've never done? I'm not comfortable. Can we get support for that? Absolutely. So we'll help you guys do that. Including the maintenance. And some people go, well, it's a pretty big project, I need financing. So if you need financing as well, we'll go through SYNNEX and provide that solution for you. On the hardware pieces, and same thing as I already talked about, there's hardware, software. Content creation is really, really where you can differentiate yourself in the market. Some people can sell hardware day in and day out. That's pretty easy. You look around, you look at your competition. They can sell hardware, you can sell hardware. But I would ask you to invest your time in the content creation services, because really that's where you're going to make money, and that's where you're going to keep the clients. At NEC we understand we're not just selling you a piece of hardware anymore. Even though the screens or projectors are attached, we understand it's only a small portion of the bigger puzzle piece. We have a dedicated solution sales team. I have 3 engineers that work for me, and all we do is qualify projects and help develop the solution, whether it's just consultation or somebody goes, well, okay, now we've sold the project, we need help. So hopefully we can sort out everything else on the front end and develop the solution with you guys. But just in case you guys are interested in those services, we can provide that through SYNNEX. You know, we're experienced in simple through complex solutions. So don't be afraid of like video walls, projection systems, projectors that need to be side by side, so they're ultra wide images. You know, and NEC is channel friendly. That's one thing we try to do as best as we can, is, you know, to help you guys, and with SYNNEX as our partner, figure out the best possible solution, whether it's hardware or software. An example of a solution is a custom bundled solution, not necessarily just a simple monitor or screen. So this is an example where they needed 11 monitors, 55-inch monitors, with mounts, some software, engineering services, and cabling, all in one. We bundled the whole thing. And this is the final project. It's 11 screens. They rotated the 55-inch monitors in vertical, and they were stretching content. So we had to educate them on how to properly do the content as well. We also have different bundles where it's just a monitor, a media player, like this OPS solution that we have, the OPS plug-in PC. You plug it into the back of the monitor, and now you have an all-in-one solution. And just pair that up with a mount and just add power, right? So you essentially have an all-in-one solution. SYNNEX also has a number of software partners that we can partner with you to complete the solution. We also have some 2x2 video wall bundles we recently updated. The X463 TMX4P, P stands for pull-out mount. We changed it from the static mounts to pull-out mounts now. So these are readily available through the channel for those people that want to sell, you know, the standard 2x2 video wall bundles. So it comes with cables to send a signal to all 4 monitors to show one large image. It comes with RS-232 control cables. It also comes with the pull-out mounts and a surge protector. So we try to bundle the whole thing. This is the most common solution that we always ask. So we just essentially bundled it, and we're selling it as a complete package through the channel. We have expertise in the quick serve restaurant market. We have over 14,000 screens, large format screens at McDonald's. If you ever go to McDonald's, there's, you know, if you look at the McCafe section, and there's the NEC monitor. If you go to a Burger King, there's almost 28,000 screens in a Burger King for menu boards. You know, I mean, just those 2 examples, you know, essentially make NEC like the #1 in the quick service restaurant space on just the number of monitors deployed. So we have that expertise, not only on the inside menu board, but also for drive-through, and also in the what they're adding out now are just entertainment systems for the dining area. So after you've eaten, they want you to actually stay. As before, for a quick serve restaurant, they wanted you to just buy your food and go. They realized that if you actually stayed, you probably get up and get coffee and get other things, just like at Starbucks. So Starbucks has that perfect plan of, wow, Starbucks did it first. If we have people stay, the more people will buy those $7 Danishes and $8, you know, lattes. Why not? So McDonald's is trying to do the same thing. If we have a TV in the, or even Wi-Fi in the facility, then business people like us won't have to go to Starbucks. We can just sit in there instead of a Panera Bread or a Starbucks. We'll go to Panera Bread, we'll go to Burger King. There's Wi-Fi in there, or Wendy's. So everybody's looking at how can we keep people at our location to buy more product. We have an expertise in video walls, as I mentioned. So whether it's a 2x2, or this one is 4 high by 8 wide for a restaurant bar. So a lot of restaurant bars these days, they're updating their look. You know, they're switching over from plasmas to video walls. This is a 3 high by 6 wide curved video wall that we helped design. It's a bit more complex because, you know, trying to install a curved solution, it gets pretty tricky. These are also using pull-out mounts. We have engineering design services. Essentially, the reseller couldn't provide documentation that the architect needed. So we provided complete CAD drawings, deliverables to the architect and the GC. And this is the end product. Essentially, we wanted to make sure that the data jacks and the electrical outlets are not where the mounts are going to be installed. That's usually the common mistake people when they're trying to do video walls or do installation, right? We've done a number of projects where it's a 3x3 video wall, 2x2 video wall, and the client says, yeah, install it right there. And they go, okay, great. And then you get the mounts out of your van and start installing, and goes, well, I can't. I got to move it 6 inches left or right. And he goes, well, you can't because now it's recessed into the wall. So you have to move the power outlet. So if everything is engineered on the front end, it'll be a lot better. And that'll be less finger pointing. The architect said, a GC said, you know. So we have those services for you guys. Other examples of our success stories, whether it's a retail food chain, the outdoor menu boards I mentioned, the airports, or even large lobbies for healthcare or corporate environments. Content creation services. We've started doing content creation services several years ago, kind of on the down low, because we didn't want to upset the industry, because there are companies that's the only thing they did. So then some of them are our partners. We got into content creation services because when we sell a solution, unfortunately, the content is the missing piece. It ends up to be the missing piece that somebody just goes, well, we're just going to recycle a video that we already have, and it looks horrible. So if you have a content creation piece as part of a channel offering, it helps resellers like yourself get in the game. That's really you try to help you guys get in there and not just selling hardware pieces, and then somebody else has to go in and sell the content creation piece. And then it adds more value to what you do and what you give to your clients. At the end of the day, we need you guys out there being successful, because if you're not successful, then SYNNEX and NEC, we can't be successful as well, right? So it's all of our partnership, and we understand that. So we got into content creation services a lot more, and we have definitely a lot of success stories. I'm going to play a video piece of an example of what we do. And these examples are available on our website for you guys to use, to show your clients, just to whet their appetite, for demonstrations and such. Stand by as my PC chugs. We have different examples from quick serve restaurant, what we call teaser boards or promo boards, because primarily the menu boards stay the same. Even though they've become digital, they rarely update the content. The promo screens at a quick service restaurant, that's where they're actually making money. Those are the specials of the day or the week or the month. And it doesn't have, the content, what we realized too, doesn't have to be it doesn't have to go overboard. I've seen content earlier on, just somebody just did a bad PowerPoint slide and did some wacky animations like I do. It could be really subtle, enough to whet the appetite and goes, okay, somebody to grab their eye, right? On our website at NEC, display.com, there's what we call good, better, best, depending on how many hours you actually buy. So, people always ask me, well, if I had $100,000, what would that get me? What kind of content? And we have examples of, here's a basic piece of content, where it's very basic and not a lot of animation, all the way up to, thousands of hours of content creation by a number of people dedicated to it. And now you're doing all these fly-ins and customization. So you have that, low, middle, high end available for you. So if you're just starting into digital signage and need some content creation services, we can help you with that. Any questions? I think I just hit the time limit. Yes?
How long does it usually take on average to do some video presentations like that? I mean, is it depends on the complexity?
It does depend on the complexity. The basic stuff takes a minimum of 5 man-hours. You know, there has to be some consultation, obviously, and try to figure out what the end user really wants it to look like. You know, we realize you guys are resellers and you have the relationship with the end user, but they need to be involved in a conference call of some sort, right, eventually. So if we get that content creation conversation early on, even before the hardware conversation, that's fine with us. Because I think if we can help you sell the concept and the content, the hardware is the easy part. I often say that. I know people don't believe me, but if you figure out the content on the front end, the hardware will be easier to configure and sell.
I've seen content is king. Without content, you have nothing.
Right, right. So have that conversation early on, and it'll give your end users a much better feeling of, you know, these guys actually know what they're talking about, and we can help them deploy it. Go ahead.
One question, on one of your slides, you said that you partnered with 50 of the top content creation. Do you have a list of your partners? Because we have several partners. I just like to know.
We do have a list. Yeah, we can share that with you.
We'll take your business card and send you the list.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you have any questions regarding, you know, why we have those guys and not the others.
We hired our own content director
Okay.
to create content, but he's working with several of the other providers, like 5 people who are authorized
Okay.
solution provider.
Okay, perfect. Cool. Any other questions? Hopefully this was helpful.
You guys stop by the booth. Mike mentioned the bundle with the PC and the display. I've got 2 of those running at the booth. Also have a projector there. We'll have some thumb drives there if you guys want to come by, grab a thumb drive. It's got some information on it, but it also talks about our PartnerNet site. You guys go on, register on the PartnerNet site, and at the end of the month, we're going to draw a name from people who register and give away TV. So stop by the booth, especially if you have questions or, you know, just want to chat.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.